everyone, Kristen from Premier Fitness. Today we have a chest day workout planned. Today it'll be a no push-ups workout, so I have a bunch of other chest workouts we'll be doing, exercises that don't include any push-ups. So if you don't like them or just not able to do them, they're not included for this one. So it's going to be 5 different exercises. It's going to be a timed workout, so we'll have one exercise, repeat that 3 times, 2 exercises, do those back-to-back 3 times, and then 2 other exercises back-to-back 3 times. So we're going to warm up, and then I'll start the timer on my phone here. Let's just get right to the warm-up first. Before we do that though, you're gonna need some weights, so whatever object you can find that'll work. If you have dumbbells, that's perfect. You don't have to have 2 matching ones, you can just have the one. If you have a gallon of water, or just a water bottle, or a thermos filled with water, maybe laundry detergent, that would work too. For one of our exercises, sweat press, we'll be going like this. So if you have a heavy book, that also work really well. So just grab a weight. We will be doing floor presses, so that's like a bench press on the floor. So if you want to get a mat out, a yoga mat, go ahead and do that. We're going to start our warm-up for now, so hopefully you have all that ready. If not, you can finish getting it together a little bit while we're starting this warm-up. So we're going to start with a chest opening stretch. So you're going to have your hands on the back of your head like this, and make sure you just rest them there. Make sure you're not pushing on your head at all or straightening your neck. All right? So we're just going to keep moving like this. We're going to bring our elbows together and push your elbows back. So just like that. Try to push your elbows back however far as you're able to when you come to that back part of the movement. And I want you to keep it moving through this whole thing. Make sure you're not holding it in one spot. Don't hold it back here. Keep it moving. We're going to keep doing this, and then we're going to switch to a similar motion next, and then we'll get ready to start our workout. Keep going on this for now. Make sure you're breathing. Don't hold your breath during this. And as you can see, it doesn't matter too much if your hands are resting right on the back of your head. You can have your fingertips at the side of your head if that's more comfortable for you, just as long as you're moving your arms in this motion. All right? So drop your arms to their side, let them relax for a second. Next, we're going to be doing almost like a press motion with your arms straight out. So arms straight out at your sides, palms facing away from you. You're just going to bring your palms together. And then bring your arms back out. Turn to the side so you can see how far back my arms are going. So just like this. Just push them back a little bit further. Alright, and we're just going to keep doing this again for a little bit. Try to make sure your arms are staying up here. Don't have them down like this. And don't have them up too high either. You don't want them above your head. Just straight out in front of you. Bring those palms together. All right, and stop. Okay, so I'll get my timer ready for us so we can start. Turn the volume up to make sure we can hear it. This will beep in the last 3 seconds of every exercise or every rest that we're doing, so you'll know it's coming to an end and you can get ready to switch to the next one or stop and start the rest. So first we're going to be starting off with the floor press. So if you need to use a mat, go ahead and get your mat. You'll be laying on the floor for this one on your back. Grab your weight, you just need one of them. If you have 2, you can feel free to work both arms at the same time. And you'll see what I mean once we get started. For now, I'll show you how to lay down first before we begin. So you're going to sit down on the floor with your legs bent, and you're just going to lay flat on the floor. Try to keep your back flat down on the floor like that. And your arms will be up here. All right? So now I'll turn this way so that you can see how my arms are moving, and we're going to start with the right arm. All right? So let's start this timer. And begin. So starting with that right arm, this is the floor press. You're gonna come up and let it back down just like that. It may help if you have your feet placed out a little wider so you have more stability. And try to remember to keep that back flat on the floor as you're going through this movement. You also want to make sure you're only moving with your right side right now. So your left side should stay nice and still. You can rest your left arm wherever. I prefer to rest it right here. It's the most comfortable for me, but you can have it down at your side if you like. All right, get ready to switch. Switch to that left side and do the same thing. So you're letting your arm down, nice and slow, barely tap on the floor, then push up. Let it down, barely tap on the floor, and push up. Make sure you're also not locking your arm when you push up. Have a very slight bend in your arm. So let it down slow, push back up. You want to breathe in as you're letting your arm down towards the floor, and breathe out as you're pushing up away from you. So breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And if you want to, if you have the weights available, you can work both arms at the same time. All right, stop. This is our rest. Pause on that. So we can time it out properly. And if you have a water, you can go ahead and drink your water right now. You can stay seated, stand up. We don't have to worry about keeping our heart rate up. You can just relax. So I'll take a drink of my water before we start again. Put that to the side. So next I'll show you, if you do have both your weights, how you can do both weights at once. It's the exact same thing, but you just keep going with both arms throughout the whole time. So when I say to switch to the left arm, you'll just continue going with both arms. All right, so let's get ready to start that. All right, and begin. So you got both weights. You'll be working both arms at the same time. And if that's a little bit too much time for you to be working both arms, since normally we switch, you can just take a bit more of a rest in between. So we'll hear those 3 beeps when it's time to switch to the left arm, if that's what you're doing. Otherwise, keep going on your right side. Make sure you let your arms down slow, barely tap on the floor. Make sure you're not resting down like this. All right, switch to your left side now if you're just using one weight. And if you're using both weights, keep going. If you need to, you can rest briefly, and then you can start again when you're ready. Let those arms down nice and slow. Push back up, make sure you're not locking them out. Remember to keep your back flat on the floor. So you'll see when you come down, it's forming a right angle right here. 90-degree angle. Kind of like you're making a rectangle with your arms when you come down, if you're working both your arms. All right, set those weights down, we're gonna rest. There we go. Take a drink of your water if you'd like to. We have one more round of this, and then we'll switch to the other 2 exercises that we're going to repeat 3 times. And I'll show you those real quick before we do them. Get ready to start that floor press again. This is our last round. I'll do this with the 1 weight. All right, and begin. Starting with that right arm, begin. Back flat on the floor. Make sure you're breathing. So breathe in as the weight's coming down. Breathe out when you push up. Remember, it might help if you have a bit of a wider stance with your feet. Your feet are further apart. It'll help more with stability. And try to keep your arm up at about shoulder level. You want to make sure you're not in like this. You really want to make sure you're not over your shoulder. Just right in line with it. All right, get ready to switch to that left side. Switch and begin on the left. Of course, if you're using both weights, you can just keep going unless you need to take a rest. Remember to keep breathing. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. almost done with this. All right, get ready and stop. All right, we'll be standing up for these next workouts. Let me make sure our timer is set. Okay. Set this to the side for now. So our next two workouts will be a Sven press and chest flies. So I'll show you that first one real quick. So our press, you can grab whatever weight. I'm going to start by showing you with this gallon of water. So you're going to have the weight in between your hands, palms facing each other. Now if it's hard to hold on to the weight, like this gallon of water might slip sometimes, you can put your pinkies underneath it or a couple of your fingers. But you want to make sure that you're mostly focusing on pushing in on that weight to keep it in place. So palms facing together, fingertips facing away from you, starting with the weight at your chest, and you're just going to push out, away. All right, so I'll show you this angle. Just like that. All right? So again, keep pressing, and I'm going to show you those flies real quick. So grab whatever weight you have with a handle, or any weight you can easily hold like this. We're going to start with the right side. So stand with a little bit of a wide stance for your feet. You want to make sure you're not like this, but you also want to make sure you're not having them so far out that the weight's hitting against your leg during the movement. So find what works for you. You're going to start with the weight at your side, very slight bending your arm, and you're going to keep that same angle of that bending your arm as we go through this movement. So starting at the side, come up to about your shoulder, hold briefly, and let it down. Again, make sure you keep that same angle in your arm. You don't want to be curling it up. And then after we do that on our right arm, we'll switch to the left. And I'll show it again as we go through it. For now, get ready to start that press. And I'll also be using this weight board to show you how you can use different weights. This is that movement I was talking about at the beginning, where it'd be great if you have a heavy book to do that press. All right? Rest. So let's get started and begin. So that Sven press, weights between your hand, palms facing each other, hands pushing in on that weight. Fingertips away from you, push away from your chest, and bring it back. Just like that. You'll notice you have a little bit of a wider stance so that you have more stability, so your feet are a little bit further apart. And you want the rest of your body to stay nice and still. So make sure you're not swaying back and forth with this. When you push away, make sure you're not leaning back as well. We don't want to go like this. Stay nice in place. All right? A couple seconds in between so you don't have to rush too much. I'll switch into that chest flies on the right arm. So find the stance is comfortable for you. In the right hand, have that weight, slight bend in your arm, up to your chest. Let it down slow, up to about shoulder level. Hold it and let it down slowly. And it doesn't quite matter where your other arm is. I find it comfortable to rest it here. You could rest it in front of you like this, or just have it down at your side. So whatever works for you. Keep going on this right arm. We're about to switch to the left. Get ready. All right, and switch. Notice that if I'm at the top of the movement, I let it down slowly. All right, so start on that left side now. Nice controlled movement. You want to make sure it's staying pretty close to your body. I'll turn to the side so you can see. You're keeping it pretty close to you. Want to make sure we're not out like this. Keep it right up against you, bring it about shoulder level, and let it down nice and slow. You can breathe in as the weight's coming down, and breathe out as you're bringing it up to your shoulder. So breathe in as the weight's going down, breathe out as you're bringing the weight up. Breathe in, and breathe out. All right, rest. So you can set those weights down if you prefer. And we're going to repeat that 2 more times. So we'll do that press, we'll do the flies on the right, flies on the left, rest, and then we'll move on to the other workouts after we do that twice. 10 10 seconds. So you can get ready to begin with that press. Have that weight, palms together, and begin. Now this one for your breathing, you're going to want to breathe in as the weight's coming towards you, and breathe out as you're pushing away from you. Breathe in as the weight comes towards you, breathe out as you push away from you. And as with every other exercise, you still want to make sure you're not locking those arms. So it's kind of hard to see like that. So just like this, I'm not quite locking my arms. This is locked, I'm just short of that. All right, get ready to switch to those flies, starting with the right arm. And begin. If you can, remember to try to hold it very briefly at the top of that movement. So right when you're here, hold it briefly and let it down nice and slow. Want to make sure we're resisting the weight just dropping to the floor as we're letting it back down. So in this portion right here, you want to make sure you're controlling that. Remember to breathe. Breathe in as the weight comes down. Breathe out as you bring it up to your shoulder. Almost done, so get ready to switch to the left. And switch. Got a couple seconds in between, so you don't have to rush. And start on the left. Keep that same bend in your arm as best as you can. If you're not able to do that, you can switch to a lighter weight. That way you're able to focus on your form, especially if this is your first time trying the exercise. It's always best to start with light weights, familiarize yourself with the movement, get a hang of it, know what your form should be, and then after you're good at that, you can switch to heavier weights. It also depends on, of course, what you have available to you. If you're doing this at home, you might not have all the dumbbells available or anything like that, so you can just work with what you have. Right? And stop. We got another rest. We're going to do that one more time, and then we'll take a little bit of a rest, and I'll show you the other two exercises before we get into them. Go ahead and drink your water, or sit down whenever you feel like you need to do. 10 seconds. So let's grab that weight, get ready to start. This is the last round of these exercises. And begin. Remember, fingertips facing away from you, and try to push in on that weight. I'll turn to the side so you can see another angle. Make sure you know how to go through this movement. Breathe in as you bring the weight towards you. Breathe out when you push it away from you. Try to make sure your body isn't swaying too much. As still as you can be. Almost done. All right, rest. Now I'll show you if you need a lighter weight, just easily switch to that. Starting with that right arm. Now say you're using this lighter weight, you're already started, we got the timer going. If you're not feeling it and you need to switch to a heavier weight, go ahead and do that. You just set it down real quick, pick up that other weight if you have it available, and begin right where you left off. And if you need to do the reverse of that, switch to a lighter weight, go ahead and do that as well. It's better to switch to a lighter weight and keep going as long as you have proper form than it is to just stop entirely. Couple more seconds, keep going. This is the last round of these. Stop, switch to that left side, and begin. You'll also notice you want to make sure you're not moving with the rest of your body. Make sure there's no twist to it. We're focusing on this arm is the only thing you can see moving right now. The rest of you should be nice and still. You want to make sure you're not doing any twists like that. Keep facing straight ahead. Try to hold briefly and let down slowly. Keep that same angle in your arm. Breathe out as the weight comes up. Breathe in as you let it back down. Almost done, and we got another rest. All right. I will pause this real quick so I can show you the other two movements that we'll be doing. So we're going to have 3 rounds of these 2 movements. It's going to be a little shorter, so it's going to be a little quicker as well. So we're going to start with an overhead press. So your hands are kind of underneath the weight, and your fingertips are facing up. So you're starting with it right up against you like this. You're going to push up overhead. You may need to lean your head back just slightly so it's out of the way of the weight. Make sure you don't exaggerate it, just very slightly. You're just going to push up overhead, let it down slow. And after we do that one for 20 seconds, we're immediately going to switch into an overhead tricep extension. So we'll be doing that. And when you hear those beeps, we'll switch right into this. So you can see, me, I take the weight, I twist it, and I hold it like that. And you let it down nice and slow. So your arms are right about 90 degrees, and you push back up overhead. Make sure the rest of your body is nice and stable. Now you don't need a dumbbell to do this. You can also do it with a water jug, for example. So overhead press, same thing. Hands kind of underneath, fingertips facing up. Push overhead, let it back down. And then we switch into that overhead tricep extension. You're going to kind of twist your hands back so your palms are facing away from you. And you're going to let it down slow and back up, just like this. All right, so set that down. I'll start the timer to finish our rest. And then we're going to do those 2 exercises 3 times back to back. We'll have a little bit of rest in between though. We'll do the overhead press, we'll do the overhead tricep extension, we'll rest, and we'll do that 3 times. So go ahead and grab your weight. You got about 10 seconds to start. We'll be starting with the overhead press, all right? And begin. Up overhead. You'll notice I have a little bit of a wider stance for my feet, so I have more stability. Fingertips facing the ceiling, down to your chest, up overhead. Again, don't lock your arms. Breathe in as the weight's coming down, breathe out as you push up. And let's switch to the overhead tricep extension. So adjust your grip and begin right away. I'll turn to the side so you can see how far my arms are coming down, right about 90-degree angle, and then push back up. And try to keep your elbows tucked in a little more. We don't want our elbows facing out. We want them facing a bit more forward, right in front of you. Go ahead and stop. You got a 30-second rest. We'll repeat that 2 more times. We'll do a cool down, and then we're done. All right, 15 seconds. I'll use the gallon of water for this round. 10 seconds. Again, we'll start with that overhead press, so get ready to start. Hands facing each other, fingertips up, kind of under the weight here. All right, begin. Up overhead. Let it down nice and slow. Make sure you're always controlling your movements. Think about what you're doing as you're doing it. Don't just go through the motions. Breathe in and breathe out. All right, switch to that overhead extension right away. So breathe in as it's coming down like this, and breathe out when you're pushing up. Almost done. And stop. And set the weight down. Our last 30-second rest, all right? So we're gonna do those 1 more time, a cool down, and then we're completely done with the workout. You're almost there. All right, let's get ready to start. We got 10 seconds. Once we begin, that's our last 40 seconds of the workout, all right? Starting with that overhead press. And begin. Our last round, so try to keep going. If you have a lighter weight available to you and you feel like you need to switch to that to maintain proper form, go ahead and do that. Get ready to switch to the overhead tricep extension and switch. Less than 20 seconds left for the workout, so keep going. Almost done, 5 seconds. And stop. Set the weight down. Let's pause this. So I'll lead you through a cool down real quick, and it'll be pretty similar to our warm up. So we're going to start with that press motion this time. So with your arms out at your sides, arms straight, palms facing away from you, you're just gonna bring your hands together. And we're going to repeat like that. If you feel like you need to bend your arms a little bit, that's perfectly fine. You may feel it in your back a little bit more when you bend your arms like this. However you find comfortable though, let's just do 5 more of these, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, let your arms drop to your side, let them relax for a second. Now we're going to do that chest opening stretch from before. So hands up, resting on the back of your head or the side like this, wherever's comfortable. You're gonna bring your elbows together and back. Doesn't matter quite how far back you go, whatever's comfortable for you. You don't want to force it and injure yourself, so just do what's comfortable. And we're just going to do this for a few seconds. Arms together and back. You can also hold it at this back part if you'd like, so hold it here and then forward. Almost done with this. And we're going to switch to a cross-body arm stretch. Let's do 2 more. All right, let your arms drop and relax for a second. That cross-body arm stretch, that's what we're doing next. So starting on that right arm, bring your right arm out in front of you, like this, kind of to the side, and you're gonna use that left hand or your left arm. You're going to pull it back just slightly and hold it there. So I'll show you how far back I'm pulling it. So my right arm naturally stops right about here, and I just gently pull it back, my left arm. Again, make sure you don't force it, you don't want to hurt yourself, just whatever's comfortable. If you can't pull it back this far, that's fine. If you can pull it back a little further, that's fine too. So just hold it here briefly, and then we're going to release. And repeat that on the left side. So same thing, bring your left arm across. Pull it back nice and gently with that right arm just to deepen the stretch a little bit. Hold it. You can take a deep breath to time yourself if you'd like. And release. Now let's do that one more time on each arm. So again on the right arm, hold. And release. Once more on the left arm, hold it. And release. Now last stretch, last cool down movement we're doing is a tricep stretch up over your head. So bring your arms up, bend that right arm, because we're starting with the right arm. Grab your right arm with your left elbow and just gently pull it back. I'll turn this way so you can see. So I start like this and just gently pull that right arm back using my left hand. Hold it briefly. Take a deep breath if you'd like to time it that way. And release. And we're going to do that on the left arm now. So bend that left arm, use that right hand on your left elbow, and pull very gently just to deepen that stretch. And hold it. And release. Let's do that one more time on each arm. So up on the right. Release. And the left. And release. All right, that's the end of the workout. I hope you liked it. Great job. And remember, you can like us at the Ashtabula County Medical Center Facebook page if you want to see more. We also have other great stuff going on, like the Lunch and Learn we have live on there. That's coming up September 29th. We have another Walk with the Doc coming up this month. I believe that one should be on the 15th of September, so you can check that out. And I hope you liked it. Thanks for watching.